I welcome you all for the video class. Today I am going to teach you Geography Chapter 6 Human Resources. As we have discussed earlier that the earth is endowed by a variety of natural resources, isn't it? Such as natural vegetation, minerals, water, wildlife, soil, land and so many things, isn't it? But these resources are useful only in the presence of human beings. Clear? Human beings use these resources with their intelligence and skill. Thus, the human beings are the most significant resources of the earth's surface. They turn all these natural resources into the useful products. While human beings are turned into a great resource with increase in their skills and abilities, health, education, motivation and skill turn the people into human resource. Are you understand, children, what I am telling? Already we discussed the variety of natural resources, isn't it? What are the natural resources you may know? Natural vegetation, minerals, water, wildlife, soil, land and so many things, isn't it? But these resources are useful only in the presence of what? Only in the presence of human beings. Clear? Human beings use these resources with their intelligence and skill. So that the human beings are the most significant resource of the earth's surface. They turn all these natural resources into the what? Into the useful products. While the human beings are turned into a great resource with increase in their skills and abilities. Clear, children? Health, education, motivation and skill turn the people into what? Human resources. And one more thing is, our government has also laid emphasis on the development of human resources. To meet these purposes, Ministry of Human Resource Development was created in the year of 1985. What is the main aim of this ministry? Means to develop the human resources of the nation. What is the main aim of the Ministry of Human Resource Development, children? Is to develop the human resources of the nation. Like the natural resources, human resources are also unevenly distributed. Okay, let us discuss about the distribution of human resources or population in the world. In this chapter, we will discuss about the topics of distribution of population, then density of population, then the factors affecting the distribution of population, then the population change. And another topic is patterns of population change. At last, we will discuss about the population composition. Okay, students, at first, we will discuss about the distribution of population. Okay, children, what does mean that distribution of population? It is nothing but the pattern of population distribution refers to the way in which the human beings are spread across the world. That is called as what? Distribution of population. The pattern of population distribution refers to the way in which the human beings are spread across the world. That is called as what? Distribution of population. Clear? Again on time I will repeat. It mainly refers to the way in which the human beings are spread across the world. On the basis of this pattern, the whole world can be divided into three parts. What are the children? Yes, densely populated areas, then moderately populated areas, and the sparsely populated areas. The crowded areas are called as densely populated areas, isn't it? Do you know that, children? The crowded areas are Eastern and Southeastern Asia. Clear? In that, what are the countries are present there? China, Japan, Korea, India, Pakistan and Bangladesh. Clear? Then Western Europe. In that, Great Britain, Netherlands, Belgium, France and European Russia. Then Eastern and Central North America. Great Lake areas of USA and Canada. What is meant by densely populated areas? The crowded areas are considered as the densely populated areas. The crowded areas are Eastern and Southeastern Asia, then Western Europe, then Eastern and Central North America. Clear, children? Next, moderately populated areas. Deccan Plateau of India, then Argentina, South Africa, Central China, Central USA and Southern Russia and Ukraine. These places are considered as the moderately populated areas. Clear, children? Okay. Next, we'll discuss the sparsely populated areas. Okay, what are the sparsely populated areas? Yes, deserts. Sahara, then Kalahari, then Arabian, Thar, the Great Australian Desert and snow-covered regions of Antarctica and Arctic, then Amazon Basin of South America and Congo Basin of Africa. Are you clear, students? Distribution of population. Distribution of population is nothing but in which the human beings are spread across the world. On the basis of this pattern, you can classify it into three types. One is densely populated areas, another one is moderately populated areas, another one is sparsely populated areas. Clear? Students, I forgot to tell one thing. Highly populated countries have some favorable climatic conditions that only attract a huge number of people in their places. Clear? These countries are highly industrialized and provide great opportunity for human beings, while the sparsely populated areas have harsh climatic conditions that are not favorable for human settlements. Clear? Okay, children, next we'll discuss the density of population. Okay, children, what does mean the density of population? Yes, density of population refers to the number of people living in a unit area of the earth's surface. Clear? Mainly it is expressed in per square kilometer. What does mean the density of population? Mainly it refers the number of people living in a unit area on the earth's surface. Unit area on the earth's surface. Mainly it is expressed on what? Per square kilometer. Average density of population in the world is 45% per square kilometer. Isn't it? Do you know that already? Okay. Density of population is calculated by dividing the number of people by kilometers of the area in which they are residing. How they calculated? By dividing the number of people by kilometers of the area in which they are residing. Clear? How they calculated the density of population? dividing the number of people by kilometers of the area by which they are residing. In Asia, India and China are the most densely populated countries in the world. In India, the density of population has increased from 77 persons per square kilometer in 1901 to 117, that is 107 persons per square kilometer in the 1950s. And 82 persons per square kilometer in 2011. It is gradually increased. Children, do you understand what I am telling? In Asia, India and China are the most densely populated countries in the world. In India, the density of population has increased from 77 persons to 117, that is 117 persons, and again it increased to 382 persons per square kilometer in the year of 2011. If we analyze the density of population within a country in 2011, we find that the capital city of Delhi has population density of 11,297 persons per square kilometer. These things are not given in your book. If you want, you may take a notes. Okay, these things are not given in your book. Finally, the average density of population in the whole world is 51 persons per square kilometer. Especially the South Central Asia has the highest density of population, that is followed by East and Southeast Asia. Are you clear, children? We'll move on to next one. Next, we'll discuss factors affecting the distribution of population. Okay, students, you may think and tell what are the factors will affect the distribution of population? Yes, climate, then relief, then soil, water, mineral, then social factors, then economic factors, then cultural factors, then political factors, and so many things, isn't it? Okay, students, at first we will discuss about the climate. Okay, climate directly influences the human settlements, isn't it? Why? Because human beings generally to avoid to stay in the harsh climate regions. They prefer to live in the normal climatic conditions, isn't it? Due to this reasons, the cold and desert regions of the world are sparsely populated, whereas the monsoon area is thickly populated. Do you understand what I am telling, children? Next one is relief. In that, plain areas are much suitable for settlements as compared to the hilly and plateau regions. Plain regions provide the best topography for agriculture and industrial development. These activities provide the ample opportunities for employment, then it attracts the huge number of people also. Therefore, the northern plains and the prairies are densely populated, while the Himalayas, then Rocky Andes mountain ranges are sparsely populated. Are you clear, children? Now you may know climate, then relief. Okay. Then we'll discuss about the soil. In that, fertile plains like Ganga and Brahmaputra are thickly populated. Why? Because they have the fertile soil to support the agricultural activities. On the contrary, deserts and mountainous areas have less fertile soil. That time the people do not attract deserts and mountainous areas, isn't it? Okay, next, water. Water is one of the basic need for whom? All living organisms, especially human beings and animals, birds. They also prefer the areas having great sources of water, isn't it? That was why the early civilizations were developed in the river valleys. Next one is minerals. The areas having great mineral wealth are more populated as compared to those which lack in mineral deposits. Coal mines and oil regions of the world are highly populated areas. Why? Because they provide employment to large number of people, isn't it? Next one is social factors. Health, education and housing are considered to be what? Social factors. Why? Because that are required by the human beings, no? The areas having these facilities are densely populated. For example, Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, Bangalore are thickly populated cities of India. Do you know the children? Next one is economic factors. In that, an area with improved economic conditions and employment opportunities always attract a large number of people. Mumbai, then Kolkata, Delhi in India. These things are these places in India. Then Osaka in Japan, then New York in USA are the some of the thickly populated cities in the world. Next one is cultural factors. That cultural and religious factors are also affect the human settlements. They have their own significance that attract a large number of people. Example, Varanasi, Vatican City, Amritsar are the culturally rich cities of the world. Next one is political factors. Political stability influences the concentration and growth of population. People do not prefer the areas having the political unrest. Only the people are always attracted towards the region with great political development. Isn't it, children? Do you understand what I am telling? Political stability influences the concentration and growth of what? Growth of population. Okay. People do not prefer the areas having political unrest. People are always attracted towards the region with great political developments. Okay, children, next we'll discuss about the population change. Okay, students, what is mean by population change? Population change is a natural phenomenon. Okay, what it refers? It refers to the change in the number of people during a specific time. Okay, do you understand? It refers to change in the number of people during a specific time. Population can never be stable at any place, isn't it? Population change of an area depends upon the birth rate, death rate, migration and natural growth of that area. Population can never be stable at any place. Population change is mainly depends on what? Birth rate, death rate, migration, then natural growth of that area. Okay, the population of an area increases mainly due to the increasing rate of natural growth of the population. Okay, children, what is mean by birth rate? Birth rate is nothing but birth rate refers to the number of live births per 1,000 people. Okay. Number of live births per 1,000 people. What is mean by death rate? it refers to the number of deaths per 1,000 people. Okay. What is mean by birth rate once again? Number of live births per 1,000 people, then death rate, number of deaths per 1,000 people. Okay. Okay. What is mean by migration? Migration is the movement of people in and out in a particular area. Okay. Migration is nothing but the movement of people in and out of a particular area. Okay. What in that we have two types of migration. One is immigration, another one is emigration. Okay. What is mean by immigration? When people arrive in a country, they are called as immigrants. Clear, children? The process of movement is known as immigration. Children, are you clear what I am telling? When people arrive in a country, they are called as immigrants. Okay. This process of movement is called an migration. In migration, immigration. Clear, children? Next one is out migration, emigration. Okay. Those people who leave a country are called as emigrants. Clear? This process is termed as what? Out migration. In migration is also called immigration. Out migration is also called emigration. Clear, children? Now you may know birth rate. What is mean by birth rate? Then death rate, migration. In the two types of migration, one is emigration and the one is immigration. Then we'll discuss the natural growth. What is mean by natural growth? The difference between the death and birth rates of a nation is known as what? Natural growth of the population. The difference between the natural and the difference between the death and birth rates of a nation is known as what? Natural growth of the population. Clear? Okay, children, tell some factors which are responsible for population change. Yes. One is high death rates, then lack of health facilities, then lack of sufficient food, then low rate of life expectancy. What is mean by life expectancy, children? Life expectancy is the number of years that an average person can expect to live. That is called as life expectancy. Clear? So life expectancy. Clear, children? What does mean there? Life expectancy is nothing but the number of years that an average person can expect to live. Okay. These are the main factors which are responsible for population change. Okay. Next, tell some reasons for the rapid growth of population. Yes, one is modern medical facilities, another one is proper and sufficient food supply. Okay. Okay, next we'll discuss patterns of population change. In that we'll discuss the rates of population growth may varies across the world. Migration also affect the population growth of a region. People move from one country to another in search of employment and better lifestyle, isn't it? For example, in developed countries like USA and Australia, then population increases due to in-migration. The general trend of international migration is from the developing countries to the developed countries. Clear, children? In that they had both high birth rates and death rates. Now improving the health care, then death rates have fallen, but the birth rates still remain high, leading to high growth rates. Clear, children? Okay, children, we'll move on to next topic. Next one is population composition. Okay, students, what is mean by population composition? It is a characteristics. The characteristics such as age, then marital status or sex is known as population composition. Clear? The population is defined by the characteristics such as defined by the characteristics. Some of the characteristics. What are the characteristics? Age, then marital status or sex is known as population composition. Clear, children? These descriptions provide different qualities of human beings. In fact, it is a structure of the population. Clear? It is significant to understand the role and importance of the human beings as resource. In that, there are three major components of human resources. What are the children? Yes, one is sex composition, another one is literacy level, another one is age structure. These three are the major components of human resource. Okay, first we'll discuss about the sex composition. What it refers? It refers to the proportion of male and female in the total population. What does mean by sex composition? It is nothing but the proportion of male and female in the total population. It is expressed in the ratios. Clear? Okay, I'll tell the one example in that. If there are 900 females to every 1000 males, okay, it means the sex ratio of female to male is 900 is to 1000, or it can be expressed as 9 is to 10. Clear, children? Now you understand? Sex composition is nothing but to the proportion of male and female in the total population. Next, literacy level. What is mean by literacy level? The literacy level of people, besides affecting their economic status, then affect their culture also. Indeed, United Nations consider the literacy and knowledge as necessary and essential for the adoption to environment. Clear? Literacy is essential not only for our life but also for well-being of our environment. Or you understand what I am telling, children? Literacy of people, literacy level of people, besides affecting their economic status, it also affects their cultures also. Indeed, the United Nations consider literacy and knowledge as necessary and essential for adoption to environment. Okay, the literacy is essential not only for our life but also for well-being of our environment. Okay, students, next we'll discuss about the age structure. Mainly the population of a country is divided into three different age groups. Okay, one is 0 to 14 years. That age group are considered to be the unproductive. Okay, next one is 15 to 64 years. That age group is considered as a productive or working group. And next, 65 years and above that age group. Like children, the people of this age group are also dependent on working population. Okay. Okay, children. Next, we'll discuss about the population pyramid. What it means? The distribution of various age groups in the population is shown by the age structure. Okay, what is mean by population pyramid? The age structure diagram looks like a pyramid, so it is known as population pyramid. The distribution of various age groups in the population is shown in the age structure diagram. The diagram looks like a pyramid, so it is called as population pyramid. Those diagrams are given in your book. Just see the diagram in your book. First one is population pyramid, high birth and death rates. High birth and death rates. In that, the population pyramid that shows the high birth and death rates has broad base and narrow top. Okay, in that they have broad base and narrow top. Okay, this type of pyramid shows that many children were born every year, but they die in their infancy. There are very few adult and old people. This type of pyramid is shown for Kenya of African continent. Students, are you understand what I am telling? First pyramid, see that first pyramid, population pyramid shows that high birth and death rates, has broader base but narrow top. Okay, there are very few adult and old people. This type of pyramid shown for Kenya of African continent. Next one is less death rate than the birth rate. This one is population pyramid of India. Population pyramid of such countries that have less death rates or broader in the younger age group. Broader in the younger age group. Then this type of pyramid is shown for India and other populated countries that have a large number of young and working people. Or you understand, children, what I am telling? It is very easy if you are understand. Population pyramid of India having less death rates that are broader in the younger age group. Okay, this type of pyramid is shown for India. Okay. Next one is less birth rate than the death rate. The countries with low birth rates have an population pyramid narrow at the base. This type of pyramid is used to show the age structure of Japan. In countries like Japan, low birth rates make the pyramid narrow at the base. Clear? Decreased death rates allow the number of people to reach the old age. Skilled, spirited, then hopeful young people endowed with a positive outlook or the future of any nation. We in India are fortunate to have such a resource. They must be educated and provided the skills and opportunities to become able and productive. Okay, students, I'll give the quick revision about the chapter number 6, human resources. Okay, at first what we discussed, children? Yes, first we have many natural resources, a variety of natural resources. What are the natural resources? You may know, children. Yes, natural vegetation, minerals, water, wildlife, soil, land and so many things, isn't it? These resources are useful in the presence of what? In the presence of human beings. Human beings use these resources with their intelligence and skill. Okay. What we discussed, what are the topics we discussed? As distribution of population. In that we discussed what is mean by distribution of population? The pattern of population distribution refers to the way in which the human beings are spread across the world. On the basis of this pattern, we classified into 3 types. What are they? One is densely populated areas, another one is moderately populated areas, another one is sparsely populated areas. Once again, I'll repeat what is meant by distribution of population. The pattern of the distribution of population refers to the way in which the human beings are spread across the world. Okay. Next one is density of population we discussed, isn't it? What does mean the density of population? It refers to the number of people living in a unit area on the earth's surface. Okay, are you clear? The density of population refers to the number of people living in a unit area on the earth's surface. Mainly it is expressed in what, children? Expressed in per square kilometer. How the density of population is calculated? Is calculated by dividing the number of people by kilometers of the area in which they are residing. Are you clear with these two topics, children? Next, what we discussed? Next one is factors affecting the distribution of population. What are the factors, children? Climate, relief, soil, water, minerals, social factors, economic factors, cultural factors and political factors. In the climate, what we discussed, in that climate what we discussed, it directly influences the human settlements, isn't it? Human beings generally avoid to settle in harsh climatic regions. They prefer only to live in the normal climatic conditions. In that relief, what we discussed, plain areas are much suitable for settlements as compared to the hilly and plateau regions. Clear, children? Next one is soil, isn't it? In that soil, what we discussed, fertile plains like Ganga and Brahmaputra are thickly populated areas. Why? Because they have fertile soil to support what? To support the agricultural activities. Next, we discussed about the water, minerals, social factors, economic factors, cultural factors and political factors. Water is one of the basic need for all living organisms, isn't it? They also, human beings also prefer the areas having the great source of water. Why? That's why the earliest civilization were developed in the river valleys only. Okay, children. What are the factors which are responsible for population change? Yes, high death rates, then lack of health facilities, then lack of sufficient food, then low rate of life expectancy, isn't it? Okay, what does mean by life expectancy? Is the number of years that an average person can expect to live. That is called as life expectancy. Clear? Okay. Tell some reasons for the rapid growth of population. Yes, first one is modern medical facilities. Another one is proper and sufficient food supply. Okay. At last, what we discussed? Population composition. What does mean by population composition? It is nothing but characteristics. It is defined by the characteristics. What are the characteristics? Age, marital status or sex is known as population composition. Mainly the population composition mainly describes the structure of the population. Okay, it is significant to understand the role and importance of human beings as resource. There are three major components of human resource. What are the, children? Yes, one is sex composition, another one is literacy level, another one is age structure. Clear? Okay, what is mean by sex composition? It refers to the proportion of male and female in the total population. Clear? Then literacy level of people, besides affecting their economic status, affect their cultures also. Then age structure. Population of a country is divided into three different age groups. What are they? 0 to 14 years, then 15 to 64 years and 64 years and the above age. Clear? This division is called as age structure. What we discussed at last, population pyramid. The distribution of various age groups in the population is shown by the age structure diagram. That age structure diagram looks like a pyramid. So, it is known as population pyramid. Clear, children? In that population pyramid, we discussed three. One is high birth rate and death rates. Another one is less death rate than the birth rate. Then third one is less birth rate than the death rates. Clear? Three different population pyramids we discussed. First one is population pyramid of Kenya. Then another one is population pyramid of India. Then last one is population pyramid of Japan. First one is population pyramid of Kenya. It shows high death rates and birth rates, isn't it? So, it have broader base and narrow top. Another one is less death rates than the birth rate. Population pyramid of India shows they have less death rates or broader in the younger age group. Okay. Then last one, population pyramid of Japan shows the countries with low birth rates have a population between and narrow at the base. This type of pyramid shows at the age structure of Japan. Okay. I hope you all understand this chapter clearly. We'll see in next video class. Thank you, students.